in my career, it's been 4 schools and 12 years with the PYP as a coordinator. So I've seen situations in which it's a little bit harder when you're working through national systems of education and you need to make those balances and the checks and make sure everything is aligned. In our case, being an IB school driven by the IB programs from the very beginning, it wasn't really a challenge. It was, again, a conscious choice to go with the best type of educational model, which is why it didn't feel like a challenge. Maybe if you're looking at teachers' growth and you want to make sure that you excel in the practices you provide, that's always a challenge. How to provide time for your teachers to be learners. How do you provide time for your community to come together and reflect on practices regularly. So those are the things that you always have to provide for. Time and those human resources and the growth for your teachers and community.
When implementing the PYP, there were some challenges, and most of those challenges were about how we think about teaching and learning. So as teachers, we grow up teaching the way we were taught. And so we had to unlearn some of our teaching practices and relearn new teaching practices. Teachers tend to like to be in charge of their classroom. They're the boss of their classroom. And teachers have to unlearn that, and they need to learn to collaborate together with other teachers to co-construct curriculum. The second thing that we had to change our thinking about was being the most important person in the room. And teachers like to be the most important person in the room. But we had to change that thinking so that learners became the most important people in the room. So that was a process we went through as teachers. And it's not something we do overnight, it's a paradigm shift that takes a period of time. So working as a team of teachers, we had to decide what is it that we want to do differently and why do we want to do it differently. And we had to agree on processes and really be very adaptive and very flexible in the way we approached our teaching and learning, reflect upon every lesson, reflect upon every opportunity and say, did that work for our students or did it not? And how can we change our approach? So in some ways, what we are teaching didn't change, but how we taught it was very different. The second thing that was a challenge for us was our parent community. So our parent community send their children to our school because they want a very rigorous and reliable and rich education for their students. But again, parents have a different experience of education. So when they come to our school, they look for something that was similar to their education. But what they see is something very different. And sometimes they don't understand why. And so it's very important for us that we spent time investing in our parent community and upskilling them in their understandings of teaching and learning. And as time has moved on, it's been very exciting to see our parents have become partners in the learning process with us.